Dr. Craig, there are so many things going on behind the scenes at Reasonable Faith and also in some upcoming podcasts that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Supreme Court and the state of Texas. That is something I know that has really gotten your attention. And some other great topics that are going to be coming up the next few weeks. But in the meantime, some behind-the-scenes things going on at Reasonable Faith. I guess we could start with the new animated series that we've added to our repertoire.
Yes, to round out the animated videos that Zangmeister makes for Reasonable Faith, we're having one that is a gospel presentation. And I had the tremendous privilege of doing the voiceover myself for this video, and it is a nice explanation of how one can come to know Christ as one's personal Savior, and it ends with a prayer of invitation for someone to commit his life to Christ. So it's a very appropriate climax to the series of animated videos that we've done on the chapters in my book On Guard.
And Bill, it just occurred to me, just as you were speaking there, that something significant has happened with Defenders as well. As you've come to the end of that series, taught through it, through the series, to the third part of the series. And, I can't help but just get a little emotional and also see a little emotion in your delivery as you brought that to a final. Tell our listeners what that means, that you've completed the
Well,
the
it took
Defenders.
us 7 years to get through that entire Defender series, and you finish with a tremendous sense of accomplishment and gratitude and a journey completed together with the folks in the class. And so now that whole thing has been video recorded. It's on the website under the Defenders 3 series. And in the live class, which we are not video recording now, I'm beginning the series over again. And we are going through the doctrine of revelation. This coming Sunday, I'll be talking about general revelation and its relationship to the arguments of natural theology. So Defenders is still going on, but we're not live streaming the current classes.
Good. And Bill, here's the big news. September is here. In fact, we're in the middle of September. And the book release is scheduled on Adam and
Yes,
Eve.
that's right. The book In Quest of the Historical Adam has finally made its appearance, and this has been a long time in coming. The book has been in press for well over a year, partly because it has so many figures in it. It has something like 45 illustrations, charts, drawings, photographs, and so there was a lot involved in the production of the book, but it's a handsome volume. Erdman's has done a first-rate job with this book. It comes out to well over 400 pages in length, and as I say, is abundantly illustrated and footnotes at the bottom of each page, plenty of white space for eye-pleasing reading. So I'm just thrilled that the book is finally hitting the bookstands.
We've got a couple of podcasts coming up in the next few weeks where we'll be discussing that, not only the book, but what people are already saying and what they're
Yes.
talking about. And so,
Yes, it's already stirring up conversations.
you have been ranked in philosophy and theology. The rankings that have just come out, talk about those rankings and the honor that's been bestowed on you.
Well, several weeks ago, I received an email from an anonymous source at the organization academicinfluence.com, which is an organization that uses artificial intelligence and various algorithms to calculate the influence in the academy of scholars in various fields. And he informed me that I might not be aware that I am ranked as the 10th most influential philosopher in the world over the last 3 decades, from 1990 to 2020. And I was absolutely stunned by this, Kevin. What made this so significant was that this is not based on subjective opinions, but it's based on this objective algorithm that is computed using, for example, the number of citations of one's work in other publications and so forth. As if that weren't enough, someone then on Facebook messaged me the following week, said, "Did you look at how they rank the theologians in the world? You're number 3 in the world among theologians over the last 3 decades, right behind Alistair McGrath and the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams." And so I thought, oh my goodness, this is just unbelievable. So it's beyond my wildest dreams. I've always wanted to make an impact for the kingdom of God. I wanted my life to influence people for Christ, and to have these rankings as one of the most influential philosophers and theologians over the last 3 decades is more than a dream come true. It's beyond my wildest dreams, honestly.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, from everyone. And I want to reemphasize, Bill, like you said, this is an algorithm. This is an objective measurement that measures, impact,
right,
and your writing and things like that. It's not just somebody who got together in a room and kind of decided.
That's right,
so.
Kevin. And you said it correctly. It measures impact or influence. This is by no means a ranking of one's brilliance or greatness as a philosopher or creativity or anything like that. This is a measure of influence or impact. And so for that, I'm very, very grateful.
Wow. A couple of more things that are going on behind the scenes, Bill. And one, I thought you might want to reflect on the death of Bishop Shelby Spong. You had a chance to interact, to debate with him several years ago, and he just died.
Yes. I have not had a lot of interaction with John Shelby Spong, except for that debate I did several years ago at Bethel College on the resurrection of Jesus. And there are a couple of things that I could say with respect to him and the debate. First of all, in reading his work in preparation for the debate, I was surprised, Kevin, at how strong an argument he gives concerning the transformation in the earliest disciples and the need for some sort of explanation of that. As our viewers probably know, for me, the evidence for the resurrection is like a 3-legged stool. One leg would be the fact of the empty tomb, one leg would be the postmortem appearances, and the third leg would be the transformation in the earliest disciples, or the origin of their belief that God raised Jesus from the dead. And I have to say, Kevin, that I have never heard a more powerful statement of that third leg of the transformation in the disciples than John Shelby Spong's, and how that cries out for an explanation. Now, the irony, of course, was that Spong wouldn't give the explanation that the disciples themselves gave, namely that the resurrection of Jesus is a literal historical event. But he was just left, as a result, with a question mark, with a mystery. He can't explain the transformation in these earliest disciples. And so although Spong used the traditional orthodox language of the resurrection of Jesus, saying, "I believe Jesus is risen from the dead," what students need to understand is that he invests that kind of traditional language with a totally different meaning. He did not, in fact, believe in the historicity of the resurrection of Jesus, that there was an empty tomb and a risen body. Spong denied all that. And I think that that was one of the things that I was most disturbed about with him was, frankly, his misleading use of Orthodox language, rather than coming clean with lay people and saying what he really thought. After the debate, there was a very interesting conversation that Jan and I had with him, where he said to us straightforwardly, well, really, I'm just a mystic. That was John Shelby Spong. He didn't believe in this stuff literally. He didn't believe in Orthodox Christian doctrines or doctrine of God. He just believed in mysticism, that God was some ineffable other that one might approach in mystical experience. And that was really the brand of his Christianity.
In a nutshell, Bill, very liberal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. As you say, students, be aware of what you're going to get if you read. But he sadly passed away just a few weeks ago. Bill, I guess we could get to the big thing, and that is the continued writing of your systematic theology. Your philosophical
It's coming along
theology.
really well, Kevin. I've completed the sections on divine simplicity and divine omnipresence, and now I'm working on divine omnipotence and trying to update my knowledge of the literature on this topic. I still have about 3 more of the attributes of God to go after this: divine goodness, divine incorporeality, divine omniscience. But I'm hoping to finish this section and volume 1 by next June. And I am just thrilled, Kevin, to say that unexpectedly, Cambridge University Press has expressed interest in publishing the whole multi-volume series. Now, they haven't offered us a contract yet. The manuscript will have to go through peer review before they would offer a contract to be signed. But the editor there said, this is a very interesting proposal for us, and we have room for it in our publishing schedule. So this is a serious offer, she said, that they want to consider the book for Cambridge. And that, Kevin, to me would be, again, just beyond anything I could have dreamt of. When I approached Cambridge University Press, I did so simply because I thought before I approach the lower tier publishers, I should just tick the top ones off the list. So, just check off Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, get them off the list, and then approach the serious candidates. And much to my shock, Cambridge University Press responded almost immediately in the way that I just described. So I am so glad that we offered a proposal to them.
Bill, finally today, looking at YouTube, I think we're going to have to change the name of YouTube to BillTube.
Oh.
Because you are just everywhere on there with so many interviews. I know that you're continuing to get some interview invitations and things like that. Have you continued to book those and to prepare for those?
Yeah, that's due to the pandemic,
Sure.
Kevin. Since I don't travel and speak anymore, I've just been inundated with these requests for social media interviews and podcasts, and have done these all over the world. And it's been so much easier for me not to have to travel through the airport and take a flight somewhere, but in the privacy of my office where you and I are podcasting right now, I can do interviews with people in the Ukraine, in Latin America, in the Middle East. I did one with a fellow in Cairo just the other day. And so it's really been a wonderful means of outreach to the whole world by being able to do these remote interviews.
Very good. Bill, we look forward to those, and we look forward to the next podcast.